Hello, welcome to Study Abroad Reality Check Season 2. Of course, it's an AbenaKwabenaTV experience on YouTube as well as all other social media platforms. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and share the video for others to benefit. Today we are talking strictly about student welfare and well-being, and so it's just about the student circles. We're talking to you about coronavirus in China and its impact on international students across the globe, as well as the ongoing strike action that has affected 74 universities here in the UK. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Welcome back. It's Student Circles on the AbenaKwabenaTV experience on AKTV. As I said earlier today, we are talking about students from the student circles, and we are focusing on coronavirus in China and its impact on international students across the globe. I have with me an international student who is a Ghanaian to help me discuss the issues, and he's in the person of Frimpomaa, who is a student here at Sheffield Hallam University. Hello, Afre, and welcome to Student Circles.
Thank you, Catherine. Of course, I'm a keen follower of the AbenaKwabenaTV since you started last year, and I must say I'm particularly fascinated by the episode I watched last week, which focused on updates,
choosing a cause, and
and particularly updates on happenings in the UK on the student front and generally as well. So great to be here.
Okay, so coronavirus, I mean, there's no need to mention the serious implications on people, especially students, all the way in China as well as here in the UK, even in Sheffield, because the first cases that were recorded were somewhere in the Yorkshire municipality. So what really have you followed from back home? I mean, depending on the stories we've read so far.
Well, the last time we had an epidemic or a health crisis of this nature, let me say global, if I remember correctly, was over 3 years ago. I think some 4 or 5 years ago, and that was Ebola. At the time, the setting was different. I was in Ghana, and it was pretty scary, and there were very many alerts. Most of them in the case of Ghana proved not to be positive so far as the test that Noguchi conducted. But I've been following the stories in Ghana relating to this. Particularly in the last few days, there was an incident that was, that created a bit of a scare, and in that instance as well, it after the tests by researchers at Noguchi, it proved that it was negative. I've also followed the conversation relating to the plight of Ghanaian students in China, particularly in Wuhan, who are calling for evacuation. I know that the global the National Union of Ghana Students particularly has been quite vociferous. The Ghanaian Students Global Association, that's News Global, has also been quite vociferous about it. And there's been that development of government sending some 40,000 cedis to the Ghanaian students, and also they're pretty not so funny, but I mean quite shocking. That and a bit bizarre, the news about the purchase of Shito and how the foreign ministry.
Well, Afraid not to catch you, but I don't see that to be out of the question, because we have heard that some of the supplies that they need go bad over the week, and we all know that things like Shito, Gari can stay. They have a long lifespan, so I don't really see anything wrong with the Ministry of Health saying that they're going to send those items over to the people in China. But let's stay on that, because there's a lot of things going on in this whole issue, and it has generated a lot of debate as to whether they really need evacuation, which has been ruled out by the Ghanaian authorities as well as the World Health Organization. So no sub-Saharan African country is actually supposed to evacuate their students because they do not have the right health systems to deal with it in case there is a case recorded back home. But these students are also going through a lot in China, and some people are soliciting for funds for these students. But let's go to China and find out, is it money they need? Evacuation is definitely out. What is the situation currently in China? So we'll be speaking to someone in China, a Ghanaian student in China, to tell us more about the whole situation. What is the current situation? So I have with me Raphael Ni Ashite Trebi, who is doing a course in international business at the Xi'an University of Science and Technology. I hope I'm correct. Hello, Raphael.
Hello, Catherine.
Yeah, can you mention your university for me again?
Okay, it's Zhejiang.
Wow.
Yes, Zhejiang University of Science and Technology.
Wow, forgive me. I think I caused a serious blunder there.
Don't worry. It's pardonable, so that's okay.
All right. Very well. So what is the situation like in China for you students, especially international students currently?
Well, the current situation here is that most cities are still under lockdown. Most people are under quarantine. That you are told to be indoors. If you have anything doing outside, you would have to put on a face mask wherever you have to go or whatever. Well, some cities are off the quarantine list now. So cities like Yiwu is off the quarantine list, meaning things are back to normal over that place. But as I said earlier, most cities are under quarantine. For example, my city and other cities here in China as well. Secondly, most business centers are closed, shops are closed, companies are not working, and also transportation systems has also been shut down. So we are living in virtually like ghost towns. That's how it seems like right now.
How is the whole situation affecting studies in China?
Schools have still not reopened. It's right now on indefinite suspension because there hasn't been a fixed date allocated for school to resume. So they are looking to see if, or the Chinese government is actually looking to see if they could actually handle this, and if they could actually handle and see if the cases dwindle down a bit so that school can resume and things could get back to normal.
So has there been any communication as to how your academic year is going to be? Because time is fast spent.
Absolutely not.
So that means you don't know when school is going to reopen and how things are going to be in terms of when you are completing or writing of exams, or how to cover the syllabus?
Not at all.
Wow, that's pretty serious. Right now, there's a lot of debate going on about what exactly you guys really need, because evacuation is definitely out of the question since WHO says no African country is ready to deal with a possible situation. So you guys would have to keep your cool on that. But there are people soliciting for funds for you guys. Is it money you need at this particular point in time now?
Truth of the matter is, when it comes to money, I don't think that's what we need presently. We actually need medical supplies and logistics as well, because I mean, be as it may, even if we are given money, I mean, we still have to go out there to buy our supplies ourselves. But then again, these shops aren't opening. So then how would you even go out in the first place, because you're under quarantine? And even if you manage to go out or probably sneak out, where are you going to get your supplies from? Because most shops are closed. So I really think the supplies will be much more of a beneficial use to us than than physical money itself.
Okay, so the Ministry of Health back home in Ghana is reported to have said that they are considering sending you guys gari, shito, and other provisions or other staple foods from Ghana, which has been laughable. People are making fun of it on social media and all. But what do you think?
At this point in time, you can't rule out anything. I mean, anything, any aid whatsoever would be of immense help to us. So you just can't rush away anything. You know, as I said, yes, everyone is indoors. We're under lock and key. Like, barely can even move out because there are security guys all around. So if we have these supplies which have longer lifespan, in terms of these food supplies that you just mentioned, which have longer lifespans, it would be of immense help. That notwithstanding, I think there are other needs there are other things that are also needed. As I made mention, medical supplies such as this face mask as I'm wearing, and also maybe hand sanitizers and all that. So we keep ourselves safe as we are indoors.
Okay. So just before you go, we also are aware that the government of Ghana has sent some money, close to some 40,000 cedis to you people. What can you say to us about that money?
I don't know exactly whom they are referring to as the students, probably those in Wuhan, but those actually here with me in my province and my city haven't received any money.
Raphael, are you in touch with any association in Ghana? Because I know there's the Ghana Union of Students in China. Are you a member of that association?
Yes, I am a member of that association.
And
yes,
your leaders haven't said anything about this money?
Not at all. Interestingly enough, I spoke with my chapter president today, and he did confirm that he hasn't received any money whatsoever in terms of what you just mentioned. So yes, we haven't received any money.
And you can say on authority that even those in Wuhan have not received any money at all?
For those in Wuhan, I don't know that much. What I know for now as a fact is that my chapter and my city in which I am in, no student has received any money whatsoever.
Okay. Very well. Thank you very much, Raphael. Wow. So, Afre, you heard it for yourself. Raphael says they've not received any money from the government of Ghana as being reported.
Well, that's a bit surprising, Catherine. And we may want to question whether the close to 40,000 Ghana cedis that government sent to the students in China was meant for only those in Wuhan, that's the worst affected province, or rather the province that's been most affected by this coronavirus.
But that would not be fair, because they are all students, and according to him, they're all going through the same situation. It doesn't matter where you are in China. The problem is a national problem, so it's all over the country. So it's not really about who is where.
I mean, that's a fair point. I mean, because any country that has its nationals in another state who are, and going through a situation like this would want to cater for the generality of its citizens and not just a section of it. So questions that the Foreign Affairs Ministry may provide clarity to in view of this very startling revelation. And he also talked about the fact that they need some supplies, right?
Yeah.
So the shito and all that.
Yeah, and he said it's quite necessary to them. So you see, my point was quite valid. They need it. Useful. Anyway, but back home in the UK, things are not all so rosy as it may seem, because some students are actually going through a lot in terms of discrimination, as we have read around in the news.
Yes, and the Sky News and the Telegraph have reported on this in the past couple of days. And they were talking about how there's some form of discrimination against Chinese nationals simply because the epidemic has been mostly recorded in that country. And one of the students was talking about how, in some instances, people see them and make all sorts of racist comments against them because of what we are witnessing in their country. And it's also interesting how the country's health agencies are dealing with this matter. And the lead agency in the UK that is handling this and tackling this matter is Public Health England. And if you go to many public places, for example, in elevators, at canteens and all that, you see notices indicating that if you've been to China, particularly Wuhan, in the last 14 days, you're experiencing symptoms including sore throat, coughing and all that, you should immediately report to the appropriate authorities.
Well, that's very well. We would be delving deeper into that. Try and speak to some Chinese students here in the UK to find out what exactly they are going through and what exactly their situation is like. Yeah, so just before we wrap up, another issue that has been trending from the student circles in the UK is the ongoing strike action that has affected 74 universities. Fortunately for us here at Sheffield Hallam University, and especially my faculty, we are not going through that strike. We have received emails which assures us that everything is going on as planned, unless it has to change along the way. But last Thursday, when the strike began, everything went on as planned. Lectures were not affected. Nothing was affected. Everything has been smooth. Afra, how has it been for your course as well?
Well, so far only one lecturer and tutor of one model out of the 4 I'm offering has indicated that she will not be available for lectures. But I mean, we're discussing this.
Were you happy with that?
Even in Ghana, and if you're in the university, wherever, if you hear UTAG is going on strike, it's not always bad news for students. Let me tell you, there are international students who are on, who are fee-paying students who are not on any form of sponsorship. Mostly during the weekdays when they have lectures, Monday to Fridays, they are unable to pick, shifts that will accumulate to the 20 hours per week that they are entitled to. So if the lecturers are not coming to class, that means that they are able to take up more shifts and so on and so forth.
But that is not quite good news, because we are not so much affected, but there are other students in other universities across the UK who are seriously affected. And so maybe we are lucky, but let's just hope that it's not so bad as it seems, and that they can make up for the time lost when this whole thing is over.
You know one interesting thing? When this announcement first came up on the school's website, some of my colleagues were happy about it. And I mean, we had already begun conversations and discussions about how we were going to this time around demand or request from the school to refund our monies to us for the number of lost hours in terms of the lectures and the lecturers who would not be coming to class because of the strike. Yes, we had done the calculation and all that, around £500, but well, it won't be good luck.
Good luck on that one, but unfortunately for you, you were not affected. So if you have been sleeping, thinking that you're
one model, we can still do the calculation.
Thinking that if you think that your deadlines are going to be extended, please, have a rethink and start working on those assignments, because you would have to turn them in at the appointed time. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
It's been a nice experience sharing thoughts with Afra here in the UK, and also finding out what other students are going through all the way in China. We will bring you answers to some of the questions that remain hanging as to what happened to that almost 40,000 cedis sent by the government of Ghana to students in China. We also be telling you more about how Chinese students are coping here in the UK. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video for others to benefit. It's been an AbenaKwabena experience on AKTV. I am Abena. See you same time next week. Enjoy your weekend.